Good morning, everyone. I am Kyla Shane A. Rivera, and today I will be presenting to you the Republic Act number 10157, which is also known as the Kindergarten Education Act of 2012. This will be the lesson objectives for today's lesson. First, we will identify and understand the framework of RA 10157. Then, we will determine the interrelation between the mother tongue and kindergarten education. We will also present the duties, powers, and functions of the Department of Education. And lastly, we will determine the teaching strategies which implements the MTB MLE method. Before we start, here are some definitions of terms which we will be introducing further through the lesson. So, DepEd is the Department of Education. BEE is also known as the Bureau of Elementary Education. Kindergarten education is an act to mean 1 year of preparatory education for children at least 5 years old as a prerequisite for grade 1, and mother tongue is the language first learned by the child. So, according to the legal document, the official definition of the Kindergarten Education Act of 2012 is an act of institutionalizing the kindergarten education into basic education system and appropriating thereof. Therefore, this is where they are officially making the kindergarten education as a basic education and is part of the legal system before a child goes to the elementary grades. So, before we start, let us first know the framework of RA 10157, which is also known as the Kindergarten Education Act of 2012. Enacted on July 25, 2011, this was enacted by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the Philippines. This was signed by the former President Benigno Aquino III. So, the RA 10157 was created in order for the children to have equal opportunities to avail themselves to accessible, mandatory, and compulsory kindergarten education. This was according to the Section 2 of the paper, which is also known as the Declaration of the Policy. So, this was created in order to promote physical, social, intellectual, and emotional and skill stimulation and values formation. This is still according to Section 2. So, according to an article from the House of Representatives, this is 1 year of preparatory kindergarten education for children of at least 5 years old, mandatory and compulsory for transition to grade 1. I found an article from a different website which states that a child is mandatory, needs to attend at least 1 year of kindergarten in order to transition to grade 1. So she states in her article that it is not needed for a child lower than 5 years old to attend kindergarten immediately because kindergarten can a child over 5 years old is already enough to go to grade 1. So according to section 8, which is also known as the um, Section 8, which is also known as the appropriations, public kindergartens are made free, compulsory, and mandatory by DepEd, unless the child goes to a private kindergarten school that is not under the free compulsory of the DepEd, then it is not free. Next, why was RA 10157 implemented? So, according to the Section 2, this was implemented because the kindergarten education is vital to the academic and technical development of the Filipino child, for it is the period when the young mind's absorptive capacity of learning is at its sharpest. So let us now head on to mother tongue in kindergarten education. So, mother tongue is actually included in the kindergarten education, for this is one of the crucial language that a child learns and is able to bring to his or her age when he or she enters her first school. The state shall hereby adopt the mother tongue based multilingual education, or also known as the MTB MLE method, which we have previously known from our previous lessons. We have learned that mother tongue based multilingual education includes the mother tongue into the school into the school, and we also put English to these methods or to these teaching strategies. So, in this article, they have used that mother tongue as the primary medium for instruction of teaching and learning. This is according to Section 5 of the the legal document. And furthermore, it says here that the mother tongue of the learner shall be the primary medium of instruction for teaching and learning in the kindergarten level. However, there are some exceptions which does can apply the exception for not using MTBMLE within the classroom, and these are the following. First, we have when the pupils in the kindergarten classrooms have different mother tongues or when some of them speak another mother tongue. So basically, this is when another child speaks a different language from another. For example, most of the students there are different from different parts of the Philippines, and they have no their only common mother tongue is Tagalog. So they will be using a different mother tongue in such case. Or for example, here in AUP, we use English as our medium for teaching our language. Next, we have the teacher doesn't speak the mother tongue of the learners. So this is an example when we go to a different country. For example, we have Filipino teachers who are OFWs or work in Thailand. They do not know the language of of Thai, so therefore they are one of the exceptions of using MTBMLE. Next, when resources in line with the use of mother tongue are not yet available. Um, for this one, I still have a little bit of conflict of understanding, but based from my understanding, these are basically whenever we use modes of mother tongue, for example, teaching resources, and these are not available, we can also use a different language in order to apply to our classroom. And lastly, we have when teachers are not yet trained in how to use the MTB MLE program. So this is very much an example of those teachers who were not really prepared. For example, we are now preparing ourselves for mother tongue based education because we have this class, but for some didn't have this course or this program being offered. Therefore, this can be an exception. In such exceptional cases, the primary medium of instruction shall be determined by DepEd aligned with the framework being used in the elementary level, including teacher training and production of local resources and materials under the DepEd Order number 74 series of 2009. And this DepEd Order numbers 74 series of 2009 is also known as is defined as being mandated use of the learner's mother tongue in improving learning outcomes from kinder to grade 3. Now let us head on to section 7, which is also known as the duties, powers, and functions. So I categorize this section into four categories. We have the A, curriculum development; B, teacher professional development; C, oversight of private institutions; and D, introductions to innovative approaches to ESET. So before I start, I will be saying that Section 7 is basically through the DepEd, through Bureau of Elementary Education, shall exercise the following powers and functions. These are the responsibilities, excuse me, following responsibilities and duties of Department of Education through implementing this program. First, we have curriculum development. So, according to Section 7 of Segment B, it says here that to develop the curriculum for kindergarten education consistent with the universally accepted norms and standards, including values formation, all of which shall be developmentally appropriate, and use the MTB MLE as a medium of instruction, and to periodically review such for the purpose of upgrading. So, according to this section, the DepEd will make curriculum which is fitting for kindergarteners, and also they have to be consistent with the standards that is implemented from different schools, and also has to apply the MTB MLE medium as their form of instruction. So these are um, This is MTB MLE teaching, um, MTB MLE method teaching strategies. So these are some examples of MTB MLE teaching strategies which you can apply to your to your future curriculum. So these developing strategies, teaching strategies using the unique features of MTB MLE that is found in section 7, segment C. So we have the two-track method, which presents storytelling and reading, listening story, oral communication activities. Those are two-track methods. Then we have the interactive strategies where the child and the teacher or with their fellow peers will be interacting with each other in order to use their mother tongue. Then we have manipulative games, which uses, for example, counting, isa, dalawa, tatlo, or one, two, three, and other such things. Then we have the experiential small group discussions and TPR, which is known as the total physical response. So, furthermore, the learning development materials shall consist of the following at minimum. So, these should also be included in our teaching strategies, like listening stories, small books, big books, experience stories, primer lessons, and lessons exemplar. Next, we will have the teaching professional development. So, according to Section 7 of Segment D, conceive and develop and extend a continuing professional development program for kindergarten teachers to ensure constant updating to their knowledge in current trends, pedagogy, methodologies, and concepts on early childhood education. So, as presented by the teaching from our teaching professions subject, a teacher has to continually improve themselves, um, continually develop themselves to the strategies, to the recent strategies and learnings in order to ensure that they are constantly updated with what is what is what is good for the learners of today, since of course we have a changing we have a changing century. Our students also change. Therefore, we need to be continually updating ourselves to professional development. So it is the responsibility of DepEd for teachers to for them to provide teachers that continual professional development in order for them to achieve their greatest potential. Next, we have oversight of private institutions. So, according to Section 7, Segment E, prescribe the necessary qualifications for hiring and accreditations of teachers who will handle the kindergarten education program. So, before a teacher applies for a kindergarten position, they need to be qualified for that position. But I found in an article, same article from the House of Representatives, if a teacher, if they are unable to track a teacher who is not really qualified to be to be a kindergarten teacher, it states there that they can apply even though they don't have the qualities of a kindergarten teacher. That is through experience of teaching and also a qualifications exams. That's what I've found in that rights and of teacher professional. Next, we exercise the right authority over the preparation of private kindergarten institutions, which is found in Section 7 of Segment F. Then, we have supervised the establishments of various venues for early childhood education, which may be institution based, home based, hospital based, or community based, and shall be duly accredited by DepEd. So no matter if there is an if your kindergarten school is a home based, institutional based, it must all lessons or establishments should be accredited by DepEd in order to ensure that it is um, good. Then we have Introduction to Innovative Approaches to ESED, or also known as Early Childhood Education. So, according to Section 7, Segment A, we need to introduce innovative programs in kindergarten that shall include educational technologies whenever applicable. So, we apply the new technologies for our teaching strategies. We need to be innovative with the use of technologies, educational technologies. So that is whenever it is applicable. Then on section 7, segment H, we need to oversee and supervise the organization, operation, and implementation of kinder education program. So according to what I have read, um, DepEd has to be able to see that their organization is under operation and implemented on, like, they are prepared for kindergarten education program. Like they have it is well prepared enough that this institution or this program is fit for kindergarteners and the education as education. Okay, so that is all. I will be presenting to you this statement written by Ellen G. White from councils to parents, teachers, and students, which is found on page 149. God has made provision. Our schools are the Lord's special instrumentality to fit the children and the youth for missionary work. Parents should understand their responsibility and help their children to appreciate the great privileges and blessings that God has provided for them in educational advantages. So, children, so as teachers, we need to see that that the schools which we will be maintaining, the classrooms which we will be using in the future, should always center around God, because this is a great privilege. This is a great privileges to us and to our students. So we need to center our own curriculum on what is fitting the spiritual provisions for it. So that is all for my presentations. This is the references, and if there are any questions, please just present it on after this presentation. Thank you all again.